The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I'm looking at you, Jim. Yeah. Let's get into this defense and let's talk about what Jim Schwartz needs to do moving forward. And I don't think it's necessarily just switching things up in the backfield and switching things up at cornerback. And that'll be another video that I'll do. I'm not going to do that right now. I'll get into it a little bit, but what this video is going to be about is about bringing pressure. I made a video yesterday. The defensive line has been disappointing. They need to be elite. They need to be dominant for this defense to work. And if they aren't, if they're average, if they're even okay, Jalen Mills is going to get beat. And he's going to get beat deep. Jalen Mills does not have long speed to hang with number ones. And he's getting burned. And quarterbacks are getting protected. All right, I've got some nuggets. I've got some numbers. I wish I had numbers for 2018, but I don't because I don't have $200 to pay for Pro Football Focus, all right? But here are the nuggets that I have. Pro Football Focus sucks. That's why I'm not paying $200 for their stats. But here are some statistics I have from last season. All right. So in 2017, teams rushed with 4 men 66% of the time. That was your average. The Eagles rushed with 4 78.9% of the time. That was third in the NFL. There were 2 teams that were above 80%. They were Cincinnati and Jacksonville. So obviously the Eagles, they rushed with 4, and that was the third most in the league. So out of that 78.9% that they rushed with 4, they got home 31.9% of the time. That was 8th in the NFL. I don't have numbers for this year because, again, I don't have them. But when it came to blitzing in 2017, the Eagles blitzed 19% of the time. That was 26th in the NFL. And the thing about last year, Jim Schwartz did not blitz until basically, I want to say the last 5-6 games. Basically when they found out that they had a problem at linebacker and teams were just exploiting it with tight ends and running backs, that's when Jim Schwartz decided to ramp up the pressure heading into the postseason. They did it throughout the postseason, and the defense obviously was pretty damn good except for the Super Bowl. If the defensive line is not getting home, you need to start bringing more heat. I don't know what the stats are right now, but if the Eagles were at 19% last year, I'd guess, 10% right now that they're blitzing? They're not blitzing at all. And the times that they actually blitz, it works. You have to start creating and manufacturing pressure, because if you don't, quarterbacks are going to continue taking these deep drops, and they're going to continue beating Jalen Mills deep. All right. I've got quotes from the press conference today. Doug Peterson talking about Jalen Mills, and this is something I've been talking about. I don't know if they're going to move Jalen Mills or not. I don't know because of how they just attack the roster and how they just work things out. So here's his quote. He goes, "We got to be careful that we're not just on a whim swapping people out, because if you start doing that, it starts moving other people around as well. We're going to take these next couple of days and really evaluate everybody. If there's a change to be made, we'll make it. If not, we'll leave it alone." So if you start moving Jalen Mills around, see, here's what's going to happen. So if you do that, Sidney Jones is going to have to play outside. That's one move. Avonte Maddox would have to move to the slot or whoever. That's 2 different changes. And then if you want to make Jalen Mills a safety, that's 3 different changes you make just from swapping one guy out of the starting lineup. Now, the other thing you could do, if you don't want to move pieces around, you could simply just put Rasul Douglas in Jalen Mills' spot And that settles that if you really want to make a change. And here's what Peterson said about Jalen Mills. He goes, it's tough. These corners are on islands a lot. I think, too, I look at it from an offensive perspective, that when you see a guy that you can maybe attack, you attack. I think that's what offenses are doing right now. He's a good player. We have a lot of confidence in him. He has a lot of confidence in himself. A lot of it comes down to just detail the work and understand the situation, what teams are going to try to do against you, understanding that and try to use that as a strength. He's working through it. He'll get better, and we'll get better as a team. All right, so there you go. And then he kind of continues. He goes, until we can address it and fix it and get better at it in practice, as you guys know, teams will continue to do it. It's like if a team can't stop the run, keep running. That's just where we are right now. And, yeah, that's where they are right now. And it simply has to come down to the defensive line and playing better. They need to start playing better. You play better, you mask all the weaknesses of the secondary. You know, I thought coming in to the season that this secondary was taking a leap forward. We saw what Ronald Darby did in the preseason, even the first game, but he's taken a step back. We were excited about Sidney Jones, and he looks great. But even he yesterday, he got burned on a touchdown, and he committed a penalty on a 4th and 2. So as bad as Jalen Mills was, Sidney Jones was also making a couple mistakes as well. So he was not perfect. I don't know what the Eagles are going to do. If they don't want to move pieces around, okay, whatever. And I don't necessarily 100% blame them for it. But if you're not going to do anything, you have to manufacture pressure. That's a must, in my opinion. And that's what Jim Schwartz needs to start doing heading into this week. I mean, how many times did Dean Pease bring the blitz yesterday? The delayed blitzes that were just confusing the Eagles' offensive line, confusing the Eagles' tight ends, confusing the Eagles' running backs. Scheme up some shit, Jim. Let's go.